A spontaneous act can lead to unexpected opportunities. In the story of the waitress and the billionaire, this idea takes center stage, showing how a single moment of instinct can set off a chain of events no one could have predicted. When the waitress hugged a complete stranger to avoid facing her ex, she wasn't thinking about consequences, long-term effects, or what might unfold afterward. She acted out of fear, desperation, and a bit of adrenaline. Yet that impulsive decision became the very thing that opened the door to a new chapter in her life, one she never saw coming. Spontaneous acts often come from raw emotion, and in that moment, she followed her gut, choosing what felt safest and most comforting. Instead of confronting the past or letting anxiety overwhelm her, she allowed instinct to guide her toward the nearest person who appeared trustworthy. The hug itself was unplanned, but the authenticity behind it created an emotional spark. A moment of genuine vulnerability that caught the stranger's attention in a way nothing else could have done. It's interesting how acts that happen in seconds can shift the entire direction of someone's life. We spend so much time planning, preparing, and thinking ahead, believing that the most carefully structured choices will shape our future. Yet stories like this remind us that some of the most powerful turning points occur when we stop planning and simply react. The waitress didn't rehearse this moment. She didn't weigh pros and cons. She didn't analyze what would be socially acceptable. She simply acted, letting her emotions make the decision for her. In doing so, she opened herself up to a connection that wouldn't have formed through caution or calculated conversation. What makes spontaneous acts so meaningful is that they break patterns. Most people move through life cautiously, avoiding risks and sticking to routines. But spontaneity disrupts that rhythm in a way that captures attention. The billionaire in this story was not seeking attention or dramatic encounters. He was just another customer, going about his day. But the moment she hugged him, a gesture completely outside the ordinary routine of a waitress in a restaurant, he became part of something unusual and emotionally charged. It made him curious. It made him care. Spontaneity can bypass the barriers people usually put up. Instead of introductions, small talk, or polite distance, the story started with closeness, authenticity, and urgency. That kind of beginning leaves a deeper impression than any formal interaction could. Opportunities often arise when two lives collide unexpectedly. But those opportunities only grow when one person chooses to act boldly. The waitress, without knowing it, created a situation that allowed a deeper conversation to happen. Her vulnerability invited understanding. Her fear created a shared moment. Her apology afterward and the explanation behind it opened up room for empathy, compassion, and connection. If she had frozen, hidden, or left the room to avoid her ex, none of this would have happened. The billionaire would have remained a stranger, the moment would have passed, and the opportunity for something meaningful would never have appeared. Spontaneous acts turn strangers into participants in your story. Sometimes the best opportunities in life come disguised as chaotic moments. The hug was not elegant, not planned, and certainly not typical behavior at work. But it created a conversation that mattered. The billionaire, intrigued and touched by her situation, might have seen strength in her desperation, or a spark of bravery in her fear. The moment humanized both of them. He became more than his wealth, and she became more than her job title. Spontaneity has the power to strip away labels, roles, and expectations, leaving only genuine human connection. Moreover, spontaneous decisions often reveal who we really are. When we don't have time to think, we act from instinct, and instinct shows our true character. The waitress chose connection over avoidance, even if the connection was unintentional. She reached out to someone, seeking comfort rather than hiding. That says something about her heart, her courage, and her desire for safety. The billionaire's response, the fact that he didn't push her away, judge her, or react negatively, also reveals something about him: patience, kindness, and an openness that many people with guarded lives no longer possess. The spontaneous act became a mirror, reflecting parts of both individuals that they might not have shown otherwise. Life rewards courage, even when the courage isn't graceful. Many people look back at turning points in their lives and realize the defining moment wasn't a perfectly planned choice, but a messy, emotional, instinctive action. Spontaneous acts give life room to surprise us. They break us out of predictable paths and allow fate, chance, or timing to do its work. The waitress didn't intend to meet someone influential, wealthy, or important. She intended to protect herself emotionally, yet the universe turned that moment into something far bigger. Her story suggests that opportunities often wait just outside the boundaries of comfort. When we act spontaneously, we step beyond those boundaries. We risk embarrassment, misunderstanding, or judgment, but we also create space for extraordinary outcomes. A spontaneous hug changed the trajectory of 2 lives, not because it was perfectly thought out, but because it was real. Sometimes authenticity is the most powerful force we have, and it reveals itself most clearly in moments of spontaneity. Don't underestimate moments that feel accidental. They may be life-changing. In the story of the waitress and the billionaire, this idea becomes a powerful reminder that some of the most transformative events in life begin not with grand plans, but with tiny, unexpected moments that seem insignificant at first. When the waitress hugged a stranger to avoid her ex, she wasn't trying to change her life or create a new future. She was simply reacting to an uncomfortable situation. It felt like a small, accidental moment, an instinctive choice made under pressure. Yet that very moment became the catalyst for an entirely new chapter, proving how easily fate can slip through the cracks of ordinary life and reshape everything in ways we never imagined. Accidental moments have a way of catching us off guard. They come without warning, without preparation, and without any chance to polish our reactions. But what makes them so powerful is that they reveal genuine emotion, natural responses, and honest human behavior. When something happens unexpectedly, we don't have time to be strategic or cautious. We respond from the heart, whether that response is fear, courage, or confusion. The waitress wasn't trying to impress anyone. Her hug wasn't part of a plan. It was a spontaneous reach for comfort and safety. And because it was authentic, it created a real connection, one strong enough to stand out to the man she embraced. Many of the most meaningful relationships, opportunities, and turning points begin with accidents that seem trivial at the time. People meet by bumping into each other on the street. Jobs are found through conversations that weren't meant to happen. Life-changing ideas emerge during moments of frustration or chance encounters. The waitress may not have realized it in the moment, but her action had the potential to shift her path. Accidental moments carry that kind of magic. They slip through the noise of everyday life and land somewhere deeper, often sparking a connection that feels strangely significant despite being unplanned. What's surprising is how often people dismiss these small moments. We usually expect major change to come from big decisions or major events. We look for clear signs, planned opportunities, or formal beginnings. But the universe doesn't always work like that. Sometimes it nudges us softly instead of pushing us loudly. The stranger she hugged was simply sitting there, unaware of the emotional storm happening around him. But the moment she reached out to him, something was set into motion, something that neither of them could have predicted. A chance encounter became a doorway. A mistake became a moment of truth. An accidental hug became the spark for a connection that felt meaningful. Accidents feel random, but often they reveal deeper patterns in our lives. Maybe the waitress needed to face the part of herself that had been shaped by past pain. Maybe she needed to learn that help can come from unexpected places. Maybe she needed the reminder that not every stranger is a threat, and not every moment of fear leads to something bad. The billionaire, on the other hand, may have needed a moment that broke through the routine of his life, something that reminded him of genuine human emotion and vulnerability. These accidental moments create openings, small cracks where light enters, changing the way we see ourselves or others. What makes accidental moments especially meaningful is how they often lead to clarity after the confusion fades. In the moment, everything feels chaotic, embarrassing, or out of control. But later, when the dust settles, it becomes clear why that moment mattered. The waitress might have replayed the scene in her mind, wondering why she chose that stranger, why she reacted the way she did, and why the moment lingered with such intensity afterward. The billionaire might have thought about why the interaction struck him differently than the hundreds of polite encounters he had every day. Sometimes an accidental moment feels oddly unforgettable, as if it carries a message we aren't ready to understand immediately. Even though accidents can seem messy or uncomfortable, they often bring out courage we didn't know we had. The hug wasn't graceful, but it was bold. It wasn't logical, but it was honest. And honesty has a way of carving paths that logic cannot. When people act without thinking, they reveal their true selves. The waitress revealed her vulnerability, her fear, and her need for protection. The billionaire revealed his compassion, his patience, and his willingness to understand rather than judge. These qualities might have remained hidden if not for the accidental moment that brought them together. Accidental moments also teach us to stay open to possibility. If the waitress had brushed off the moment, if she had apologized quickly and walked away without explanation, the opportunity would have closed just as quickly as it opened. But she allowed the moment to become a conversation. She allowed her embarrassment to transform into honesty. She allowed the stranger soon revealed to be a billionaire to see who she truly was. Being open in unexpected moments gives life room to grow in directions we never plan. Often, people fear accidents because they appear chaotic or out of control. But sometimes the most meaningful changes come only when control is loosened. The waitress didn't control the situation. Her ex showing up, her emotions overwhelming her, her impulsive choice. Yet the lack of control is exactly what made the moment so authentic. It created a chance for life to surprise her. When everything goes according to plan, nothing new enters our world. But when something unplanned happens, it pushes open a space where growth, connection, or transformation can occur. In the end, accidental moments remind us that life isn't always shaped by intention. It is shaped by encounters, reactions, and feelings that happen when we least expect them. The waitress didn't choose a perfect moment. She stumbled into one. And that stumble carried meaning far beyond what she could see at the time. In the end, this story reminds us that life's most powerful moments don't always arrive with warning or elegance. Sometimes they come disguised as panic, as mistakes, or as split-second decisions we barely understand in the moment. But whether intentional or accidental, every moment carries the potential to change our path. All we have to do is stay open to the unexpected and brave enough to let life surprise us.